We are Cobb County Fire and Emergency Services with 29 stations covering 345 square miles and home to over 760,000 residents. The purpose of this podcast is to learn about our firefighters who selflessly serve Cobb County. For those who are interested in becoming a firefighter, we hope this podcast will give you a better understanding of what it takes to be in this profession. Welcome to the Cobb Fire Podcast. Today we have Lieutenant James Pullum, who's a lieutenant with the Cobb County Fire Department, and we wanted to talk a little bit about his experiences with Cobb County, what he's been doing since he's hired on, and what life was like before. So welcome to the podcast, James.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
How long have you been with Cobb Fire now?
It's going to be 18 years next spring.
Wow.
My career is old enough to vote.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It just feels like brand new, though, you know?
So 18 years. You hired on in what year?
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
All right. So in 2007, what were you doing at that time?
A lot of the same stuff as now, but I'm more of a grown-up now. A lot of rock climbing, a lot of running, trail running, but healthy living.
Okay.
I went to EMT school first, like before I started the fire department, which is kind of coincidental. I thought I wanted to do something in healthcare, and I know that I wanted to do something kind of physical also, which doesn't leave a ton of options. I started an EMT program at Chattahoochee Tech, and my instructor was Chuck Baird. Chuck had all these cool stories to tell. He's like this jolly, like old firefighter. And when he said 24 on, 48 off, I was like, this is a good fit. So, the fire department, you do a little bit of a lot of different things, but the modern fire service is a lot more like EMTs than anything else. So it was like, it kind of fit my healthcare, filled that niche a little bit, but it turned out to be a lot more than that.
So what do you like about the fire department?
I still love fighting fire more than anything else. More than I thought I would, actually. It's funny. One of the guys I went to EMT school with, he went to paramedic school shortly after, and I got kind of more geeked up on the fire side of the job, and he left the fire service and is now like a PA or something. He's high up in nursing, and I'm like more psyched than ever on fighting fire.
All right. So do you feel like with wanting to be in EMS, it's a good split between fighting fires and EMS?
Yeah.
And I know the roles.
Yeah.
I think we're more of a EMS side just because of the nature of the business.
How it works now.
But is there enough on both sides to keep you satisfied?
Yeah. I work in East Cobb, sort of East Cobb, Station 3. So we're 2nd Battalion, but almost into the 3rd. And we run with 19 at the Battery and all those apartment complexes there and some of the older apartments. We do just a little bit of interstate stuff. If 19's out, Marietta's out, we'll end up on the interstate. And we have still some old neighborhoods on the west side of our territory that's edging towards old Marietta. And there's nothing like being first due on an engine company and showing up and taking command and painting the picture and then setting your plan in motion and then executing and having it turn out. I love it. I can't get enough of that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. We talked to Dustin Martinez before.
Yeah.
And I think your path is a little bit different from Dustin's in the fact that Dustin, had opportunities to try to move up the chain a little bit faster than most, which is great about Cobb Fire. We have so many different divisions and so many opportunities to move up through the rank structure quite quickly. You decided to stay as a firefighter a little bit longer. So tell us about that and why you chose to do that.
I got a firefighter spot on the technical rescue truck in 2009. It's fun. I think one of the coolest things about this large fire department is there are so many different kind of subspecialties with the technical rescue truck and med ops and hazmat. And if you want to specialize in paramedicine. But being on the squad, you get to be a manpower unit on a lot of fires and a staffing unit on a lot of fires. And just going on a lot of fires on the squad is it's fun. You get, you're never first due, just about never first due, but you get to hear the fire develop over the radio, and you get to listen to radio traffic and kind of see where you're going to fit into that that situation when you get there. And that prepped me for being a company officer. I think for like just recognizing radio traffic and imagining what's going on, but also knowing how to paint that picture, like being on the squad and listening to the radio. It's good for that.
What did you like about technical rescue?
I was drawn to that because I'm have a passion for rock climbing, which is coincidentally one of the things that brought me into the fire service.
So did any of those rock climbing skills
Yes. Oh,
play
to the squad. Yeah.
To the squad. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where is that what drew you over there? Is the fact that
Yes.
you're using a lot of ropes, you're climbing,
being
you're
comfortable in a harness, comfortable at height, a little bit of body awareness, but more than anything, like trusting the equipment that you're using to save your life, or you're trusting your life in like, little bitty ropes like that big, keeping your head cool and making the right decisions when things start getting kind of crisp.
So before you even came to the fire department, you were doing a lot of rock climbing.
Yeah.
And then the 24-48s made you realize maybe this is the thing. This is the thing for me. So what did the shift schedule, how does that work and allowed you to go to where? To rock climb on your free time? So,
you work 24 on, 48 off. You use annual leave or a swap for 24, and now you got like a 5-day block. And there's international climbing destinations in the Southeast, like Red River Gorge is 4 or 5 hours from Atlanta. Last fall, we went to Greece, which is my second trip to Greece. There's an island south and east of mainland Greece called Kalymnos, and it is another international climbing destination that, like, if you've never been to Greece, go to Greece. There's a lot of places that you go in the world where as a tourist, they're just like, whatever. But Greece is like the most friendly, beautiful weather, like amazing food.
And you're doing this as a fire lieutenant in Cobb County.
Yeah. It's wild. This is the thing. I can have this cool career that's meaningful where I do things and I help people, but I can also have this passion that I pursue on the side, which, like climbing, like most passions, like you lift, you take care of yourself. Y'all know Tommy takes care of himself, but like
not really.
You do, but like your commitment to it, like in your adult life, like does this,
right.
and having a career that means something to you, but also gives you the space to do that, allows that to ebb and flow in a healthy way.
You don't live anywhere near.
I do not. I live in Chattanooga. Live there to live the life that I want to live, and I work here to work the career that I want to work. I'm invested in the Georgia Firefighter Pension Fund, so I have no intention of leaving. But also, this is a really good fire department. And it's like an hour and a half sounds like a lot, but then you think, oh, I'm here for 24 hours. I'm going to shower here. I'm going to eat meals here. I'm going to sleep here. And then I'm going to wake up and drive home.
You're not the only one that lives.
No, we have dudes that come from Alabama with the time change, which says a lot about our fire department. Right. Like if it's worth it to keep working here, Cobb County's pay is really competitive, but it says a lot about the department if people are willing to work that far away and make that commute.
What would you say is your most memorable experience with Cobb Fire?
Oh man. Okay. This sounds super cliche. I am happier than ever in my career. I've been in some super cool fires, like been part of some really cool rescues. Pulled another dog out of a fire last week. Little white dog with crust on his eyes, Yeah, been on some pretty rough calls too. Those memories stick with you. That's part of the job. We were laughing, here about like some of the funny things that happen at the fire station. It's being with a crew of guys that you like. Those memories are really fun in and of themselves, like aside from calls. And then you hang out with guys that you like, with people that you like at a station, and then get up and go do something meaningful.
I would, and think back to when we worked together and how much fun we had.
Yeah.
Would you still, it's obviously we were firefighters back then. So would you feel it's the same type? Now you're a leader, an station officer. Is it the same or is it different? Because now you got to be responsible.
It's different in that I think as the station officer, as a lieutenant, I set the tone of how calls go a lot more. But similar to Jeff, like Jeff Biddy, best lieutenant I've ever had. But similar to Biddy, like he would set the tone with his tone of voice. And I like almost never yell, you know? And I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm like really silly, but like my guys know when my tone changes that it's time, you know? You have some calls every now and then where like, you're the lieutenant, you have got to be perfect, or some things could go bad.
I think that's the, everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I chose a different career path.
Yeah.
Dusty chose one. You're choosing one. I think, we've got people that have been in the fire department for 25 plus years that are still riding tailboard.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it.
They love it. Yeah. We got dudes that retire and then go work at other metro departments and ride tailboard.
Yeah.
Retire as chiefs.
And that's the thing that, trying to relay to people out in the world that are seeking a career in firefighting is it's what you make of it, right?
This job is so cool. I said this earlier. Like, this job is so cool that all over the country, people do the coolest part for free,
right?
Because that's how cool it is. We get paid to do all of it. I mean, I get paid to be an EMT. I get paid to like log all these training hours and staff the station, because fighting fire is so cool that people will do it for free. So like, we'll pay you to do all this other stuff if you manage this. No, I love it. Like I'm leaving room for like the future maybe changing, and future James being like maybe more wanting a leadership role. But right now I like being a company officer. I love it. I mean, I was not exaggerating. Like, I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my career. Where I am now, I've gotten more like letters and cards and people coming by the station and like bringing us stuff that on calls that we run on than ever in my career. And I don't know if that's like a a thank you for your service kind of, people appreciate the fire service more now, but it's fun.
Is there any advice you'd give to somebody that's looking for a career in firefighting, since you've been here 17 years and some change, and as a station officer, what advice would you give to somebody that's interested?
If you think this is the job for you, this is probably a great job for you. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize how many different places there are to go within this career. But I think that people should not be intimidated by the modern fire service. There's this indoctrination into the fire service where you're like, you're in recruit school, they're yelling at you, whatever. But like, I genuinely believe that. Like, you don't sign up for something like this if you can't bring it when it needs to be brought.
Well, one, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
The one thing I do want to point out is, obviously with your background in rock climbing and with EMT, it's not necessary that you have to have those skills. The only thing I would press for people that are looking to become career firefighters is, get some kind of workout regimen.
Yeah.
Start working out, do a little running, lifting weights, because it is a physical sport, and it takes a lot out of you. And if you're not ready, especially when you go to the academy, you're going to find out in the first week you're going to be running a couple miles within the first couple of days. And I think one of our recruits just pointed that out, that they didn't realize how much physicality goes into recruit school. So it's going to be physically demanding. It's going to be mentally demanding. We push people through pretty quickly on the EMT side, but you see that when you get your new fire candidates out there, fire recruits. So it's,
you don't want to be overwhelmed by all the things that you're learning and not physically prepared. Right. You want to learn all the skills and learn all the things, but also be like physically ready to do it.
And I think as being in the hiring process for so long, that's the one thing I can point out is, do something now. It's better to start now than later. We're going to teach you everything else you need to know. Our training division does a really good job with that.
We have some very passionate guys in training.
We do,
too.
and we appreciate everything they do, and they do a great job. Outside of that, I really appreciate you coming in and talking about your life outside of the fire department, your life inside the fire department, and we just want people to understand, we all come from different backgrounds. We all culturally, we're different. Diversity is out there, and we're not looking for one particular person. We're just looking for people that want to come in and be passionate about the job.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. but it's also been nice to talk about, when we worked together years ago.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good memories, and I think that's one thing that I can say is I have a lot of good memories with people like yourself that we worked together. We had a good time together. We studied together. We played together. We worked out together, and ran a lot of good calls.
Yeah.
So thanks again for coming in.
Dude,
and
thank you.
thank you for listening. Please like, follow, and subscribe for more content.